Athens Farmers Market offers healthy, local options for low-income families. Newswatch starts right now.
Good evening, I'm Marie Manesi.
And I'm Aiden Crowley. Welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio.
Planned Parenthood and the American Civil Liberties Union are filing a lawsuit with the Ohio Supreme Court in efforts to block the ban on abortion after 6 weeks of pregnancy. This ban is known as the Heartbeat Law, which went into effect right after the Supreme Court decided to overturn Roe v. Wade on Friday. It prohibits abortions for women once fetal heart activity can be detected. ACLU of Ohio's Frida Levinson says, quote, "It's an independent document. It has rights that are analogous to those in the federal constitution, but they are broader and do cover the right to bodily autonomy," end quote. With the Heartbeat Bill being passed in 2019, the state plans to continue to defend this new law. In a press conference today, Democratic candidate for Ohio Governor Nan Whaley says if she wins, she will bring the issue to the ballot so voters can codify abortion rights.
It is time for voters to fight back. If they're going to take a right away from women by banning abortion, we're going to take it directly to the people and say enough is enough.
WCPO reports Ohio Governor Mike DeWine refused to comment on the new lawsuit. Cincinnati is voting to add abortions to their city employee health care plan, and cities around the country are also engaged in abortion debates. Amy Kiley has the latest on where abortions are banned, restricted, protected, or in limbo.
So there's a big legal battle coming.
More and more states are rushing to protect or restrict access to abortions. Attorneys general in these states say they want to maintain or expand access.
We have filed a lawsuit that asks the courts to clarify that Wisconsin's 19th century abortion ban is not in effect.
The governors of Nevada and California are using executive orders to protect people seeking the procedures. These states are poised to go the other way with restrictions or bans. Such laws are in limbo in Louisiana and Utah. They're already in place in these areas.
This decision returns abortion policy to the place it has always belonged, to the elected policy branches of government.
Today in Cincinnati, the city council is voting on adding elective abortions to the city employee health care plan. At the federal level, some Republicans are still taking victory laps and taking credit.
Landmark decisions made possible by the effort that I and others made to transform the judiciary.
The Biden administration is entering the fray, too. It's pledging to protect patient privacy and expand access to medication abortion.
Under federal law, patients have rights to privacy. They have rights to access to certain types of care.
We're going to see, I believe, a spate of lawsuits with DOJ trying to strike down state laws that reach into other states.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Good evening, I'm your forecaster, Max Brunke, and today we were sitting at about 84 degrees here in Athens, Ohio. Clear skies all around, little to few clouds in the air. The only thing you really got to worry about is that 22% humidity, which was much, much higher earlier in the day at about 32-35% humidity. So it's going to feel very muggy. You're going to sweat a lot. Make sure you're drinking a lot of water and staying hydrated. Thankfully, the temperatures around the area are not too high. We're sitting at 84 here in Athens, 84 in Lancaster, 82 in Zanesville, and 82 here in Parkersburg. So thankfully not too high like they were last week, but we also do not have any rain in the area, so nothing's going to cool it down either. No rain to be seen, but will that stay the same over the weekend? I'll tell you more in my full weather segment coming up. But for now, back to you guys.
Thanks, Max. CVS is removing purchasing limits of emergency contraception. Purchase limits are removed in all locations in CVS.com. The pharmacy announced this yesterday. This announcement comes shortly after the company started limiting purchases on the morning after pill to 3 per customer. CVS implemented that limitation due to an increase in demands for the pill after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. The company says sales have stabilized. Other pharmacies are seeing a rise in sales following the Supreme Court decision on abortion rights. One telehealth company says the demand has more than doubled since the ruling. Jen Sullivan has more.
The Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, putting the spotlight on abortion pills.
Medication abortion has opened up the options for individuals who are in need of abortion care.
Instead of having a surgical procedure, medication abortion is a method to end pregnancy by taking a combination of pills approved by the Food and Drug Administration. The first pill is called mifepristone, and the second pill is called misoprostol. The FDA says both are safe and effective up to 11 weeks after the first day of the last menstrual period.
It's extremely safe. It's safer than Viagra. It's safer than most of the over-the-counter painkillers, for example.
Sourcing medication abortion pills online is safe if the pills are sourced from reputable outlets.
Hey Jane, a telehealth organization that delivers medication abortion pills in some states, says the average patient demand has more than doubled compared to last month following the High Court's ruling. A similar organization, Aid Access, says demand began growing even earlier, in May, when a Supreme Court draft opinion was leaked.
We have seen an incredible increase of requests of help. People are really, really scared.
Some anti-abortion advocates say the next battle over abortion rights may be over access to these abortion pills, with some Republican governors already signaling they'll take action to block access to abortion pills.
We don't believe it should be available because it is a dangerous situation for those individuals.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Coming up, President Joe Biden attends the NATO summit to discuss strengthening against Russia. And food insecurity nationwide leaves food banks with empty shelves. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
On Finding Your Roots, actor Ty Burrell.
That is amazing.
And radio host Joe Madison.
Never had dreamed that this could exist.
Family legends.
You believe the story?
I think there was probably some shame there or something.
And shocking stories.
Who is that?
Joe, that is your biological father.
I have seen that face. I could not tell you where.
Finding Your Roots.
Tuesday at 8 on WOUB.
Join us on June 30th at 9 p.m. for WOUB's Our Ohio. Our Ohio is a high school documentary film project that WOUB worked on in partnership with 5 Southeast Ohio high schools. Approximately 100 high school students produced 34 short films telling their own personal and cultural stories that were entered into a film festival. We'll show you some of the winning student work and hear from those who participated. WOUB's Our Ohio, Thursday, June 30th at 9 p.m. on WOUB HD.
On The Great American Recipe.
We want you to create a crowd pleaser.
I love pushing the boundaries and borders on flavor.
There is some spice in the air.
Yeah. Oh man, what is in that?
Unfortunately, at the end of this round, one of you will be going back to your home kitchen.
Am I nervous that I'm in an elimination round? Yes.
You want my food to be fabulous.
Yes.
Like, go big or go home.
The Great American Recipe, Friday at 9/8 Central on PBS and the PBS app.
Planes, a growing part of the climate emergency.
Aviation is going to become one of the top polluters if we don't act right now.
But could electric power change the equation?
Electric motors are within that edge of possible.
New technology,
flying taxis or cars,
could decide who wins.
We are doing something to change the world.
The Great Electric Airplane Race on Nova.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
The last remaining Medal of Honor recipient from World War II has died today at the age 98. Herschel Woody Williams Foundation announced he died at the Veterans Affairs Medical Center, burying his name in Huntington, West Virginia. As a young Marine corporal during the Battle of Iwo Jima in February 1945, Williams went ahead of his unit and eliminated a series of Japanese machine gun positions. The 22-year-old Williams received the Congressional Medal of Honor later that year. Williams remained in the Marines after the war before working for the Veterans Administration for 33 years as a veteran service representative. His foundation established more than 100 Gold Star family memorial monuments in recognition of relatives of lost service members. West Virginia Governor Jim Justice is now the chairman of the Southern Regional Education Board. Justice was elected at the board's annual meeting Sunday in Atlanta. He succeeds Delaware Governor John Carney, who served as chairman the past 2 years. Justice will lead the group 80-member board that includes governors, legislators, and state education leaders working to improve public education at every level. The board serves 16 states.
President Joe Biden is in Spain for a historic summit of NATO leaders, and their focus will be on the ongoing threat of Russian President Vladimir Putin's war in Ukraine. Biden is unveiling a significant strengthening of forces to defend the region. Mary Maloney has the latest on the takeaways from today's meeting.
Amid the backdrop of an ongoing war in Ukraine, NATO allies are meeting for a critical summit in Spain, making moves to undercut Russian President Vladimir Putin's aims.
We're going to get the NATOization of Europe, and that's exactly what he didn't want.
In a historic expansion, the alliance formally inviting Sweden and Finland to join.
That demonstrates that NATO's door is open. It demonstrates that President Putin has not succeeded in closing NATO's door.
Still, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky voicing frustration that his country has yet to receive their formal invitation.
Хіба Україна ще недостатньо заплатила?
Meanwhile, President Joe Biden announcing major increases to the U.S. presence along the eastern flank of Europe. They include establishing a permanent headquarters for the 5th Army Corps in Poland, maintaining an extra rotational brigade of 3,000 troops in Romania, and sending 2 more F-35 fighter jet squadrons to the United Kingdom.
We're going to make sure that NATO is ready to meet threats from all directions across every domain, land, air, and the sea.
But as the war drags on, leaders at the summit worry the worsening economic impacts back home can lead to diminished support for Ukraine in the months ahead. I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
R&B singer R. Kelly is being sentenced to 30 years in prison. This follows convictions last year on federal racketeering and sex trafficking charges stemming from his efforts to use his fame to ensnare victims he sexually abused. Prosecutors asked for more than 25 years in jail. Defense attorneys believe he should face a maximum of 10 years, and according to unsealed court documents, they said the abuse that Kelly dealt with as a child should account for a lenient sentence. Kelly is expected to be taken to Chicago, where he faces a federal trial for child pornography and obstruction of justice.
Now, with rising inflation, food costs, and higher gas prices, low-income families are facing food insecurity. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, more than 38 million people across the country lived in food insecure households in 2020. Experts warn food insecurity is showing little signs of improving, resulting in potentially devastating consequences for their health. Gloria Pazmino explains.
A bag full of vegetables and a little bit of food education.
Potassium is great for your cardiovascular system.
It's all on the menu to help Blanca Mateo feed her family for several days.
Si no lo sabía, la pata tiene potasio.
Blanca joined the New York Common Pantry here in the Bronx at the start of the pandemic. 2 years later, she is still dependent on this crucial lifeline. Based on her income, she pays $10 to receive fresh produce twice a month.
Si voy al supermercado con $10, no voy a comprar esto, no.
It's a big help. Record-breaking inflation, the high cost of gas, and price increases on everything from food to housing means low-income Americans like Blanca have seen little reprieve.
Food is one of the worst items hit by inflation in the last 4 decades.
This pantry tries to provide more than food. Participants get nutrition lessons, learning how to cook the produce and improve their diets. States with the highest projected number of people living in food-insecure households in 2021 included Texas, California, Florida, New York, and Ohio. As the pandemic recedes, thousands remain food insecure. It could all have devastating effects.
You're going to see higher levels of diabetes, higher levels of cardiovascular disease, hypertension, certain types of cancer, and all related to obesity and poor eating behavior.
When you're food insecure, access to fresh produce like this is not always guaranteed. Back at home, Blanca puts the nutrition lessons to work, like using less salt, sautéing with little to no oil, and fruits in a salad to make it more appealing to her 11-year-old son.
Mi fruta favorita.
Since joining the program, she's been able to come off high blood pressure medicine by focusing on her diet. While inflation continues to climb, pantries attempt to fill the void. But experts warn they're not a perfect solution.
This person had the ability to seek out and find a right program. Many people don't have that opportunity or choice.
In New York, I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
SNAP benefits are helping low-income families and local businesses at the farmers market. That story's still ahead.
July 4th is coming and the long weekend is coming up, but will it rain on our parade? You'll find out more in my full weather segment coming up after the break.
Planes, a growing part of the climate emergency.
Aviation is going to become one of the top polluters if we don't act right now.
But could electric power change the equation?
Electric motors are within that edge of possible.
New technology,
Flying taxis or cars,
could decide who wins
We are doing something to change the world.
the great electric airplane race. On Nova.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
I was on a kayak whale watching trip in California when this happened. A humpback whale breached on top of us.
How can you get that close to something that big and not die?
I was drawn into a much bigger story. There were other close encounters with whales.
I became obsessed with whales, and that's where the detective work starts.
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
Join us on June 30th at 9 p.m. for WOUB's Our Ohio. Our Ohio is a high school documentary film project that WOUB worked on in partnership with 5 Southeast Ohio high schools. Approximately 100 high school students produced 34 short films telling their own personal and cultural stories that were entered into a film festival. We'll show you some of the winning student work and hear from those who participated. WOUB's Our Ohio, Thursday, June 30th at 9 p.m. on WOUB HD.
We're on the road for 3 weeks.
You just put a little fire in my belly.
To follow the Muslim thread woven through the fabric of our country.
The American story is the Muslim story.
That made me like giddy.
There's this person named Muhammad Ali
Yes.
who is a worldwide phenomenon.
We're taking the great Muslim American road trip.
Tuesday at 10 on WOUB.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the warm weather because I sure didn't. I was in this black all day and I was hot because it was 85 degrees as a high and 58 as a low, which we will see later tonight. Mostly sunny, not a whole bunch of clouds in the sky, if any, which was very nice. And as you can see in our local radar, if any of those clouds were in the sky, they weren't rain clouds, that's for sure, because Athens is completely clear. Looking very pretty up here in this area. We got a couple clouds here in Pittsburgh, but we are not concerned about that down here in southeast Ohio. Tonight's going to look beautiful. We got clear skies and a overnight low of 58 degrees, so it's a great night for a fire. Get out there and burn some sticks. And moving on into tomorrow, we have a temperature high of 90 degrees. We are going to be completely sunny, no clouds in the sky, if at all. A low of 66. So if you are going to be outside, make sure you're lathering up in sunscreen because those UV rays will be beating down on you and there are no clouds to hide that temperature or those UV rays. And as you can see with our pressure index, we had this high pressure move through here just a couple of days ago, and with that high pressure brought a lot of rain, and the rain is just pounding on the southern part of the United States right now. But as you can see up here in the northwestern part of the Midwest, we are going to have this high pressure index move through southeast and into Indianapolis, the Columbus area, and eventually Athens. And what that's going to do is going to bring a lot of rain with it, and it's unfortunately going to spoil our holiday weekend because on Friday we got a 50% chance of thunderstorms with a high of 88 and a low of 67. So hopefully, if we don't get those thunderstorms, we'll still have very warm weather. But Saturday, it's the same story. We got 60% chances of a shower, and
a high of 84, which is nice because that rain's going to cool us down just a tad over the weekend, and a low of 65. So hopefully, again, that rain will miss us and we'll be able to enjoy our weekend. But on Sunday, we have another 40% chance of thunderstorms and a high of 87. So is it going to come into Monday as well, our 4th of July? Unfortunately, that's what we're predicting at the moment. We got a 40% chance of showers with a high of 88 and a low of 66. So if you're planning on going outside for 4th of July, which I'm sure almost all of you are, make sure you're bringing something to cover yourself in, either an umbrella or a rain jacket, whatever works for you. And then it's more of the same story on Tuesday and Wednesday, 50% chance and 40% chance. High of 87 and a high of 85. But that's all I've got for you for my full weather segment. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Max. For over 50 years, the Athens Farmers Market has been giving patrons the opportunity to purchase local grown produce, including those that use food stamps.
Newswatch reporter Jensen Neck has more on the story.
Black raspberries.
Summertime means fresh fruits and veggies at the Athens Farmers Market. People with access to food stamps are able to take advantage of these local options by visiting market workers like Tanya Heyer at the bright turquoise tent.
We run their card and we take money off of their SNAP card and give that to them in the form of these gold tokens. Each are worth $1, and we can, as much as they want to take off their card, we will give them that much in gold tokens.
Access to these local options is thanks to the Produce Perks program, which was created to help SNAP benefits go farther.
On a typical summer Saturday, anywhere between $800 and $1,200 worth of food stamp dollars we exchange in.
Heyer says the program is working in Athens County and connecting local farmers with local dollars.
The main goal was to be able to make the fresh fruits, local fresh fruits, supporting local businesses, make that available to individuals and families that may be challenged by price differences compared to the grocery stores and, unfortunately, the not so good for you food.
Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Jensen Neck in Athens.
To learn more about SNAP benefits, visit ohiofoodbanks.org.
Coming up in sports, the Southern Ohio Copperheads are battling the Richmond Jazz, but how are they faring? Find out when Newswatch returns. And be sure to stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Join us on June 30th at 9 p.m. for WOUB's Our Ohio. Our Ohio is a high school documentary film project that WOUB worked on in partnership with 5 Southeast Ohio high schools. Approximately 100 high school students produced 34 short films telling their own personal and cultural stories that were entered into a film festival. We'll show you some of the winning student work and hear from those who participated. WOUB's Our Ohio, Thursday, June 30th at 9 p.m. on WOUB HD.
Planes, a growing part of the climate emergency.
Aviation is going to become one of the top polluters if we don't act right now.
But could electric power change the equation?
Electric motors are within that edge of possible.
New technology,
flying taxis or cars,
could decide who wins.
We are doing something to change the world.
The Great Electric Airplane Race on Nova.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
PBS Passport is adding new shows and doubling the number of episodes for you to stream. For the first time ever, our most popular programs have been selected just for you.
But there's so much more.
Whether you like to travel,
wow,
feast,
and calories don't count.
Look back.
That is me.
Discover.
You know the whole story.
There's something for everyone.
Let's get to it right away.
Stream on any device with Passport on the PBS Video app.
We're on the road for 3 weeks.
You just put a little fire in my belly.
To follow the Muslim thread woven through the fabric of our country.
The American story is the Muslim story.
That made me giddy.
There's this person named Muhammad Ali who is a worldwide phenomenon.
We're taking the Great Muslim American Road Trip.
Tuesday at 10 on WOUB.
The Copperheads are in action against the Richmond Jazz at McBride Stadium. The Cheds trail the Jazz with a score at 7-1 in the top of the third inning. The Copperheads would like a win today to help get the campaign going in the right direction. They sit in last place in the South Division with a record of 5-10. The Jazz are right above them with a record of 9-10. The Copperheads have a quick turnaround with a doubleheader at Grady's Field to face the Zinnia Scouts. The Cheds are back home Friday for a 3-game stand at Bob Wren. The Reds face Chicago Cubs at the Wrigley Field tonight in the second game of the 3-game series. They beat Chicago last night 5-2 thanks to an outstanding performance from shortstop Jonathan India. He had 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 home run, and 3 RBIs. Tonight is important for both teams. A win puts Cincinnati 1 game away from 4th in the Central Division with a chance to tie the Cubs for that spot tomorrow. Cincinnati sends out Hunter Green with 2 pitch while the Cubs counter with Justin Steele. First pitch is set for 8:05. The Guardians are back at Progressive Field tonight to face the Minnesota Twins in the second game of their series. The second place Guardians look for a win to keep pace with the Central leading Twins after splitting a doubleheader yesterday. Cleveland wants to cool off the bat of Minnesota's Jorge Polanco, who drove in 3 runs in a Game 2 6-0 win. The Guardians have Cal Quantrill as tonight's starting pitcher with Minnesota sending Dylan Bundy to the bump. First pitch is set for 7:10. The Columbus Crew face Toronto FC tonight at 7:30 p.m. Both teams are hanging in there near the bottom of the table and desperately need 3 points to put them in good standing for a playoff spot. But this game is crucial for a potential playoff berth. They are both in similar positions and are awaiting the arrival of a new attacker. Tonight's game gets underway at 7:30 p.m. in Toronto. Novak Djokovic is moving on to Wimbledon. The number 1 seed took it to Thansi Kanakis in 4 sets for his 23rd straight win in his tournament. Djokovic faces 25-ranked Mimor Kurmancevic in his 3rd round of men's singles Friday. The 23rd seed John Isner is on to the 3rd round after knocking off former Wimbledon winner Andy Murray in 4 sets. So guys, back to baseball. Both the Guardians and the Twins both lead in 1 and 2 position in the division. How do we think games tonight and tomorrow are going to help these 2 teams in their standings?
Yeah, Jensen, I really got to go with Minnesota. They seem to have Cleveland's number. Thanks for the great work. And our last story tonight, a team of former rocket scientists and restaurateurs in California have created a fully automated pizza-making robot on wheels. The robot uses complex algorithms to track traffic, schedule its bake, make the pizzas en route to the customer, and pump out the hot pies right on time. This ambitious and delicious concept took years of development and trial and error. The scientists at Stellar Pizza think they've cracked the code to delivering high-quality pizza straight from the oven to your door.
Well, tonight we got clear skies and a low of 58. We're going to feel that 58 for sure, so make sure you get out there with a fire. And tomorrow we're going to have a high of 90. It's going to be real hot, so make sure you get out there and enjoy the hot weather.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Maria Manesi.
And for Max Brunke, Jensen Neck, I'm Aiden Crowley. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at woub.org. Have a great night.
Support comes from Goldsberry Wealth Strategies in Athens and Parkersburg, focusing on helping people achieve a life well lived with a custom strategy. Information at goldsberrywealth.com. Raymond James Financial Services Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Support comes from Hocking Valley Bank, offering mortgage loans, a refinance